trust Toyota to be here for you. Your Toyota dealers are offering many ways to save with amazing deals and attractive leases on our most popular models like Camry, RAV4, and Tacoma. Hope is on the horizon, and you deserve a great deal on a reliable car. So look no further than the brand you trust, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or visit toyota.com for more information. Today, tomorrow, Toyota.
Hello, 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 good people, citizens of the world. Welcome to Climate Speaks 2020. I'm your host, Darian Deshawn. Thank you so much for being here. We know you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you were here with us tonight, and we appreciate it. First of all, we hope that you are safe. We hope that you are healthy, because tonight we are here to listen and to support our young leaders of the future, because tonight is about us stepping back and giving them a platform so that we can hear their words, hear their voices, so that we can collectively move forward together as a people. We have an incredible lineup of young rock stars. This year's Climate 2020 Speaks consists of poets, essayists, and short story writers. So that's what we have in store tonight, and we're going to be showing them a tremendous amount of love, because this is not a passive experience. No, it's going to be interactive. You're not just going to sit there and watch, right? We're going to be interactive, and I'll show you how. So this is how it's going to work. We're going to show you. So what's going to happen is, so because in this virtual space, in this virtual platform, because we can't hear each other clap, we show applause in another way, in two ways, actually. The first way being one of my personal favorites, which is raising the roof. So let's show them how it's done, everybody. So everybody raise the roof, 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 raise the roof. So that's how we do that one. And the second one is through spirit fingers. So try that with me. Spirit fingers, everybody. Spirit fingers, spirit fingers, spirit fingers, spirit fingers, spirit fingers. That's right. And so we do that because why? Because it feels good to work collectively, right? Because when we work together, there is power. There's power in that, right? Because collective action is the name of the game. And we'll be talking about that at the end of the show, but let's put a pin in that. But as the host, I'm going to be working very hard in keeping us active. Now, the other way that we're going to keep you guys active is through the chat. So that's right. Throughout this entire show, we want you guys chatting away in the chat room. Now, if you're new to chatting, that's quite all right? Because we're going to give you a couple of things that you can kind of throw in there just to kind of, if you're like, I don't know what to type. So here's one that we really like, one word, which is nice, Niiiiiiiiiiiiiiice. So make sure you have a minimum of 5 I's. That's very important. Another one that we love is say word, right? Pretty self-explanatory. And another one is speak on it, right? Climate Speaks, speak on it. You get the idea, okay? Another thing that we want you to do is if there are lines that really kind of jump out at you, that really resonate with you, that any of the speakers have said, please type it in the chat. That lets them know that you are listening, that you are paying attention. I'm going to be doing it as well. And lastly, feel free to respond to other people in the chat. That way we're having a group dialogue. It is public discourse. Okay, so with all that being said, I want to pass it off to the director of the Climate Museum. This is the first one. Here we go, guys. Everybody, please raise the roof and give it up for Miranda Massey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Climate Museum and welcome to Climate Speaks 2020. So happy to have all of you with us tonight. This is an amazing group of young people you're going to be hearing from, helping us make a way forward as one people, like Darian said, on climate progress. Couldn't be prouder of them, and I'll say more about that in a moment. But first, a word about the Climate Museum. We exist to inspire action on the climate crisis with work across the arts and the sciences, and that's focused on building understanding and making connections, making community like we are here tonight, and advancing toward just solutions, because we know that there's no climate solution that's not also a justice solution. There's no technical fix for this. And the young people you're going to be hearing from tonight know that as well. We focus on the arts because in the arts, we can see a mirror for all of the powerful emotions that we feel about the climate crisis. Sadness, loss, grief, anger, frustration, intimidation. In the arts, we know that we are seen and heard and not alone. But that's not enough because we need to move forward on those feelings, right? We also focus on youth and young people because over the last 2 years, youth have become the global leaders on this crisis. They have changed the actual debate and the figurative debate entirely. It was less than 2 years ago that the very first youth-led climate march happened in New York City and DC. Just think about that, less than 2 years ago, and now it's a global movement that has changed everything about how we think about our possibilities for moving forward together in the future. So Climate Speaks brings together those two focus points, the arts and youth, and know too that the climate crisis is a crisis of intergenerational justice. Older people made it, younger people are going to have to face it. That's another reason why the voices of young people have been such a passionate and effective vehicle for moving change. These young people you'll hear from tonight, I am particularly proud of, and I speak for Darian and the whole Climate Speaks and Climate Museum team. They came into one program and then it changed up completely on them. They never even really got a chance to know us in person before the COVID crisis hit. That's affected everything for all of us, for everyone watching. But for these young people to learn how to lean into their own creativity and leadership on this platform is an extraordinary thing and an inspiring thing. And I invite you to reflect on that. Last year, our final performance, last year was the first year of Climate Speaks. It was in the hallowed halls of the Apollo Theater in Harlem. And I won't lie, that's an intimidating space to step onto for the first time as a non-performer. This is a much harder thing to do. It's much harder to project and make a connection this way. And that's something that is really worth thinking about, because all of these guys showed so much grit, sticking with this, leaning further into their work and their connections to each other and to us and to the necessity of climate progress. It was 100 degrees in Siberia last week, guys. We need to move forward now. Where it starts, though, is with acknowledging emotions. Many times, emotions about loss and grief and anger. And I want to start you all off by introducing a video of a cento poem. Cento comes from the Latin for patchwork. And to make this poem, each of our brilliant performers chose a line from their piece and they put them together, they arranged them together, and then a beautiful film was produced by Gary Waller of Momentous to showcase the talent of these young people at the top, and also to give you a window into what they're feeling. The arc does not end here. It does not end in sadness and anger. It moves to action together. That's what we'll be doing over the course of this evening together. But for now, I want to ask you to really allow yourselves to hear and feel the emotions that motivate this work. Thank you.
Home is a place of soil, of leaves and bark and branches.
Of our eyes, we noticed the fish whose lips touched death.
I woke up a second time, and when I did, it was almost like my room had been plastered with white paint.
I don't know how to start my life when my end has already been written.
We deserve to have only matters if the earth gets what it needs to survive.
All they have to do is act.
We must spread awareness among the youth of today with the goal of assuaging Mother's anger.
If you say you don't miss her dancing, you are lying.
I should have known that you will always be deaf to what you don't want to hear.
I can't believe the denial has erased where my home base is. I'm faceless.
Did we take the wrong path?
We can let our stories intermingle.
Otherwise, I will be the means to your end.
Lest angry tides crash onto one more wasted day.
Coming routinely to return the waste from whence they came from. No longer do they want to be burdened by letting you in with open arms.
We have a choice to save Mother Nature or face her wrath.
Yeah. That's what's up. Spirit Fingers for that Cento poem, Spirit Fingers. And that was all of our speakers too. That was all of them from last night. And we have tonight. I want to show you our lineup for tonight. So you see our lineup. So last night we had the Justice League. This night we have the Avengers. So I think we are ready, folks. I think citizens of the world, we are ready to get it started. All right, let's get this party started right. Let's get this party started quickly. We all know that it is not easy to go first. So we need to show our first speaker a tremendous amount of love. So everybody, let's get ready. All right, everybody, please raise the roof and give it up for Annabelle. Whoop, whoop.
Good evening. My name is Annabelle, and I'm going to be performing my poem, I Don't Know How. I don't know how to start my life when my end has already been written. I can hear my own heart when I feel the ground beneath me crack and fall apart. We know we are watching something die. Shuttered breaths knock us on our back, and when we look up to see the sky, all we can see is a collage of failure reflected back at us, our own fear personified. We were born into this beauty without seeing its pain. The lies and hatred from systemic and capitalistic ideals have smothered our screams with its hypocrisy. Yeah, a lot of big words, I know. I was listening when you taught me alliteration and rhyme, when you taught me how to write a sentence and then an essay. When you sit in a class for 6 hours a day, you learn to listen. Are you listening now? I remember learning about the words climate change in 2nd grade, teachers telling us over and over again that it was our fault. Words not spoken through their heads, but through their lips, the manipulation clear in their clouded eyes as capitalism yanked and pulled at their limp limbs, their tongues molded into vessels for the wrong kind of green, their incoherent sentences shouting you, instead of the more terrifying us. All this time, we have been preparing for our promised future, but now we are being forced to replace the whens with ifs, the answers with questions. And I know now that all this listening was an ignorance masked in knowledge. Are you listening now? I used to want a daughter, someone to hold in my arms, to protect with my life and give my heart to. And yet, I don't know how to start my life when my end has already been written. This chosen ignorance has bound our chests and clenched our hearts with fists, destroying, you know, that incredible feeling you get in your gut, the feeling of waking up on a sunny day, going to sleep the night before your birthday, or smelling the first honey-scented wind of spring. We come crashing down. And we see that our hands are bloody from tearing up the stones of our home and throwing them into the blackened sky, shouting that we deserve to fly. Failure's claws dig into me, rips out my lungs when I sing. I used to think I could fly. leaping off my periwinkle paradise, hoping that gravity would fail for me. But now I need it to hold on to me before I float up into these bloodied clouds. I see children gather and scream together. Sorry, I'm going to say that again because I don't know if you heard that, but I see children gather and scream together. We have been betrayed. Betrayed by our protectors, the dictators of this tragedy that force us to be spectators as the end of our beauty tumbles in these purple landslides towards these broken hearts just trying to connect. But I see children fight for something and it grounds me. Every Zoom link, every homemade vegan banana bread that sits at the center of these children, planning, sweating, and bleeding for their future. I come back down, and with them, I can see my reflection for the first time and not flinch at its promise. I don't know how to start my life when my end has already been written. So I'll start with this vegan homemade banana bread and these children that I know will fight for my life. Thank you.
Oh, and everybody, air drum, air drum, air drum, air drum. Psh, 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 psh. Hi-hat, snare, 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 drum roll, brrr, and raise the roof for Annabelle. That's the way we do it, folks. That's how we started off. Check it. I see children gather and scream together. In case you didn't hear that, third time's the charm, maybe. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Thank you, Annabelle. Spirit fingers one more time for Annabelle. And keep them wiggling for Erica. Woo, woo.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to be reading my short story, The Gardeners. All right. You're Nora Liao, right? Teo Martinez sits with their interviewee under the garden tent as rain drums down from the orange clouds. It's hard work to keep a garden, especially since you have to cover the acid-vulnerable plants every time it rains, so almost no one does it. But Teo learned how from their grandma, a plucky pre-flood Floridian born in Generation Z, and they're lucky they've kept up the practice because the garden seems to make Nora more comfortable. And Teo needs her to be comfortable. Nora could tell them how to rebuild the world because she knows how it's already been done. Yeah, I'm Nora. Why did you come to this universe? Collateral damage. My mother, she was a multiverse theorist, followed a lead, fell out of reality, and so my universe kicked me out, and I ended up here, or something. And that other world, it was a lot safer, right? Clear rainfall, fertile land. You faced the same challenges, started with the same resources, but you figured everything out, right? Can you tell me what you remember about it? Nora presses her lips together. She takes a breath. She remembers. She remembers her parents behind her as they all step into the garden, the air sweet and thick with the fragrance of her father's evening primrose. He is a romantic. He spends his Sunday nights watching the sphinx moths land on his blossoms. Her mother grows vegetables like a normal person. Nora's parents are lagging behind, talking gently. Her mother laughs. It's been a long time since she's heard that. Out in the street, modern architecture perches on top of 21st century buildings redressed, rebirthed. Instead of demolishing those old structural bones, the retrofit teams intermingled them with large windows and bamboo plants, and curving neoplastics, terracotta pots and columns of leaves, tapering chimneys, turrets, as if the block was a row of tiny castles. In her brain, Nora can see both the current reality and the old memory, the existent despair and the disappeared life. In Nora's memory, above what isn't the crumbling Johnson's Food Emporium, a woman plays cello on a balcony that over here doesn't exist. Windows are open on all levels, revealing people swimming in air through fake apartments and handing each other imaginary objects. Migratory birds take a break to sing, accompanied by the rhythms of two drummers sitting on a front stoop. A great she-hawk screams, a silverfish in her talons, her feathers catching the warm gold rays of the late afternoon sun. Nora whistles and looks askance as she snags an apple off a street tree, pretending to be sneaky. Her father gasps, pretending to be shocked. Her mother sighs, pretending to be disappointed. If I get one more call from Jenkins. Amanda Jenkins runs the block's arboretum, and she is always running her mouth about greedy teenagers. That's when Nora spots her old friend Alex with their mom and little sister. Nora tosses them an apple. She doesn't remember what they talk about, but it's funny, and Nora's dad keeps trying to decipher it so he can learn teenagerese or something. As they walk east, a curving tower twists its way into the sky, its multicolored windows like flowers on a vine. Its skin is covered with a layer of leaves. It carries the earth into the sky. The hawk finds her place on a balcony, welcomed by a young boy who stands there, squinting up at the spinning, whirring blades of his energy kites. At the east river bank, the storm wall rises high, with steps cut into it on the inland side. Two young people sit on those steps, fishing out still dripping oysters from their bags, the pile of shells growing between them. Bikers glide along rows of zucchini. A child pokes ants with a stick. There are cable cars strung between buildings. It's sun showering, and she lifts her mouth up and drinks. When she finishes, Teo is speechless for a moment. That sounds really beautiful. Doesn't do me any good now. That part of my life is a 15-year dream. But dreams can give you hope, right? Maybe they can if you're a clueless kid who plants their tomatoes too close together. Oh no, really? How do I fix that? When you're done writing down my sob story, maybe I'll show you how.
Yeah, and everybody make a bird with their hands, make a bird with their hands, make a bird with their hands, and set it free and raise the roof for that epic sci-fi short story. That's what we are talking about. So check it. Dreams can give you hope. That's what I'm talking about. Let's check out the YouTube channel. Let's see what we have here. I saw some really, really good ones. Sunny Side Up. 726 says beautiful imagery. Wow, I agree. Jordan Jackson says wow, epic, another wow. Let's see what else we got. Tyre Nurse says let them hear it again. And one more, Kitty Suzelki says we'll never get over how good this is. I agree. It's good, isn't it? It's good. It's good. It's good. All right, everybody, spirit fingers one more time for Erica and keep them wiggling and give it up for Madeline. Woo!
Hi, my name is Madeline, and I'm going to be performing my poem called Symbiosis. If the ocean's boundless sublimity could be defined by that of any one woman, it would be my calligraphy teacher at school. With those ink black strokes pouring onto paper, and her hair, that same Sumerian hue, scrunched above her head, eyes sunken, as if the sea herself had eroded her spirit from the banks of her soul, just as it did 8 years earlier with Sandy's grasping hands. I was in the 7th grade when I first heard the sea's silent cries. I was sitting in a science class. The words drowned as they dripped like honey from my teacher's crystalline lips, covered with a substance I did not then recognize as lies. Mutualism was Finding Nemo, the clownfish who found its home in the anemone's grasp. Commensalism, the remora, the fish gliding along the shark's fin. And parasitism, the barnacles weaving themselves in and out of coral reefs. All 3 types of symbiotic relationships. Symbiosis defined as, noun, evolved interaction between organisms of different species with benefits to one or both of the individuals. The bird who picks flesh from the teeth of the crocodile. The girl who follows the sea. That girl was me, and I am still her. She gave me the relief of her cool, undulating tides in exchange for my wonderment, my love, my protection. Those days, I thought again of Hurricane Sandy. 2012, 285 dead, 650,000 homes lost, $70 billion of damage. My calligraphy teacher and the $200 I was able to raise for her, the ink, the hair, and that big gold necklace she'd always worn. It was the tree of life, the symbiosis of community, of her for me, then me for her. Last week, practicing my lettering for an old friend's birthday card, I dipped a paintbrush, heaving with the sable ebony India ink into a cup of water. We all know that oil and water do not mix, but the ink just stayed, spiraling and concocting itself into a torrent of black. The water was too weak to hold its own under those tyrannical hands. There can be no symbiosis, no love from our mother when we do not uphold our end of the deal. When we let poison seep from the mouths of corporations who look us in the eyes and tell us everything is fine as they burn our world away. We have become the parasites of this earth, living off her life as fleas to a dog. We suck the life that moves her, refracting it from the whites of our teeth as we watch in silence our own ink dripping into her serene coolness. But she is not serene anymore. The sea is angry, I would know. I asked her the other day. She is rising, coming closer to meet us, to tell us that we need to do something. I wonder if she has gone from me, if I am gone too far, if symbiosis has burned its ends to ash and like a match we are to fizzle out. Is this our last stand? Have I not held up my end of the deal? But she can't be gone. She promised the little girl that one day, waves lapping at her feet, ink dripping from her pen. I have her word. I know this cannot be all. I am running back, my skin scorched by the heights I have climbed, flying too close to the sun, yet if every Icarus was to burn, only they would. And her hair wouldn't be turning to ash as it does with every piece of coal that burns with her. Greed would incinerate, like the folded pieces of incense flickering in my throat as I go back now to see nothing more than sand trapped in a glass. Beauty that has ran its course and now remains only for us to marvel at, as if we walk through a museum that was once our room. The moon has been reduced to ash that falls bit by bit into oceans and lakes and ponds when they look like swimming pools, filled with the same jet black ink. I ask myself, can she hear me now? Her angry tides crash onto one more wasted day, wasted by corruption or by fraud, wasted day in and day out as they won't tell us who they are, but they tell us who we need to be. Wasted by the man who sits on his throne of avarice, intoxicated by the sweet, slow burn of abundance as he falls back and chokes on his promises, dismembering the vows he had never written. This may be our second sleepless night, but it is not the end. We must follow the sea again. Meet her at least halfway, requite her anger, because we too rage. Thank you.
Yes! And everybody do the robot, 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 and raise the roof of that poem. That's what I'm talking about. We too rage. That's what's up. Speak on it. Thank you, Madeline. Spirit fingers one more time for Madeline, and keep them wiggling for Manov. Manov.
My name is Manav, and the piece I'll be performing is Ignorance Ignites in the Voice of a Wildfire. I was born from ignorance. I was born from oxygen. I was born from humanity's inability to adapt and change. While I provided warmth and comfort, left unchecked, I am all-consuming. Natural disaster and signified beauty, my sovereign body is left ever to fester in its undignified fate. When I am born, I am infectious, but the vaccine remains elusive, spreading my raging heat upon my neighbors, forcing them to join my wrath. Irrepressibly contagious, climbing from tree to tree. The ashes I've created fill the air with despair, leaving behind my indelible stench. For miles and miles, acres and acres, I devour whatever is in sight. My myriad of reds, oranges, and yellows span across the landscape, reflected in the eyes of so-called humanity. Those blinded by my light cannot deny my crackling. The beautiful landscape that once was, now consumed by my rage. Houses, memories, keepsakes charred from my indignation. The beautiful sky that once was, with its hints of blue and its mosaic of clouds now permeated by my amber hues. Light consumed by darkness, hope consumed by despair, laughter consumed by tears, life consumed by death, humanity consumed by ignorance. Ignorance ignites. Factories keep burning, fossil fuels keep combusting, trees keep falling, humans keep consuming, suffocating the planet, suffocating our mother. They blame me for the destruction, but as they keep on burning, so do I. The cure lies within their hands. All they have to do is act. Enact carbon mitigation policies, protect the flora and fauna, educate the public around the facts, around the science. but they have yet to do so. Their ignorance is my fuel, igniting my flames. Inaction. From that, I was born again. Thank you.
Woo! Fire! Everybody fan yourself, fan yourself, fan yourself. Romano spitting that hot fire, spitting that hot fire. And raise the roof for that poem. The cure lies within their hands. That is what I'm talking about. To speak on it, Monov. All right, so let's go. Let's check out what's going on in the chat room. Let's see what we have here. Let's see. The host is handsome. Who put that? Who put that in the chat? No, it's not in the chat. I'm making that up. It's all right. Don't put that in the chat. Don't put that in the chat. No, put it in the chat. No, I'm kidding. Bad host. All right. No, I found some really good ones that I saw in the chat that were really great. Mary Claire Morris says, "This is bomb." Yes, it is. Maya Brown says, "The passion." And Ala Levine says, "Inspired by you all." Aren't we all? Aren't we all? So everybody spirit fingers one more time for Manov. And what I think we're going to do is we're going to take a break from our climate speakers. We're going to shift gears a little bit because we have a very, 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 very special guest. So I'm going to hand it over to Miranda to give our special guest a proper introduction. Miranda.
Thank you, Darian. It's a huge pleasure to introduce Mark Chambers, who was a special guest last year at our inaugural Climate Speaks. Mark runs sustainability for all of New York City. And he is charged with making sure that New York City is not only the greenest city on earth, but also the most fair, and that it's a city where climate progress is integrated with ensuring that everybody has an opportunity to thrive. I can't imagine a bigger job or a more important one. And it's just a huge pleasure, Mark, to have you here with us. And we're delighted that you were able to join again. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you for including me in your celebration. Thank you all for having me in this slightly more confined, but still very hallowed space. I come here tonight not just in awe of all of you, but in service of all of you, in service of the 8.5 million New Yorkers and this human species that desperately needs to ghost this relationship we have with fossil fuels. Our work now requires that we unravel the systems that support us, the energy systems, the transportation systems, the financial systems, the food systems, the physical and social infrastructure that underpins our lives. Our allegiance to those systems, as they are, will be the battleground for a future that confronts climate change and inequality simultaneously. So I come to these conversations and these gatherings with all of you to be part of this community and to contribute, if possible, to help guide future leaders like yourselves to find better ways forward in this fight for our shared human family. All of the voices that you've heard tonight and will hear tonight and you heard last night, those are proof that these leaders exist, flat out. Now, I come to this as an architect. That's my background. And so my primary lens is one of unpacking the built environment. And I come to you tonight, though, not just as a designer or as a public servant, but as a parent and a partner and someone who sees statues of our painful past being torn down in the streets and who truly believes and is fundamentally witnessing the fact that we are in consequential times. And we know that the same frontline communities that are bearing the undue burdens of police brutality and systematic racism or a failed national response to a pandemic, those are the same communities that are on the front line of a rapidly changing climate, of extreme heat and rising waters and the chaos that comes with them. And these times remind us that those communities need to have their voices heard. And they remind us that fighting racial, gender, and income inequality is necessary. And when we do that, we're fighting climate change at the exact same time. Now, last year, and again tonight, I had the absolute pleasure of spending a brief moment with some of these amazing young performers before their performances. And I will tell you this, it takes a lot of guts to get on the world stage and to share your voice and to share your art. And it's that same courage and that same creativity that we desperately need to meet the moment that we are in. Remember, it was Einstein that says that the revolution introduced me to art, and in turn, art introduced me to the revolution. Your voices matter now more than ever. So please continue to be the change that we need. Wrap yourselves in a flag of words and make this revolution inevitable. Go get them. Thank you.
Go get them indeed. Thank you so much, Mark. And now, Darian, back over to you.
All right, we are back and we are at the halfway mark, and I don't want us to lose any steam. So everybody, let's get our energy back up. So fist in rotation, like we're doing a speed bag like Mike Tyson, and raise the roof for Ella. Ella.
Hi, I'm Ella, and my piece is called Docile Children. I once rushed and crashed against huge sheets of ice. Ice that shaped your world before melting back into my waves. The same waves you would crawl out of. You were so young and appreciative, complimenting the earth with your rough beauty. You were so innocent, swimming and playing in my pools and dancing on my beaches. I was happy to watch you grow, happy to see you thrive. But I watched you bite the apple. I watched as you lost the ability to see the earth's rough beauty. I watched as you saw only profit in the wild mountains and rivers, which you turned black with ash and washed red with the blood of your own brothers. I wasn't scared of you. I knew it took all but one step too deep for you to lose yourself in me, gasping for air and trying desperately to keep your head above the surface. But my tide always pulled you under, and your struggling would soon or later stop. Yes, I knew I would be here long after you, long after all your bodies had sunk to my deepest depths. But still you hurt me, turning my stomach acidic and drowning me in oil. Because of you, I have seen millions of my creatures die. And still I watch as, just like my rising waves, your scientist graphs go up and down and up and up and up. The scientists scream over the crashing and crunching of your machines, but you don't listen to them, or to the young people screaming in the streets for their darkening future. So I scream for them, sending you hurricanes unlike anything you have ever seen. Hurricanes that rip apart the earth. Hurricanes that are still so easy for you to ignore if you are far enough away from the bodies and the buildings drowning in my wrath. I loved you. I really did. But as you melt the ice that formed so long ago, I have no choice but to reclaim the great cities you built on my sandy coastlines. I should have known that you will always be deaf to what you don't want to hear. Why would you change now? So just as I watched you evolve from Earth's docile children to the ravenous monster you have become, I will watch you destroy yourselves.
Yes, 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 everybody. And everybody wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. No, seriously, wash your hands, very important. Wash your hands, and shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, and raise the roof for that piece. Yes, check it. I watched you as you saw only profit in the wild mountains and fires. I like that. Spear fingers one more time for Ella, and keep them wiggling, and give it up for Annika! Annika!
Good evening, everybody. My name is Annika, and I'll be reciting my poem, In Times Past, from the perspective of a glacier. In times past, my majestic body consisted of beautiful blue hues of ice, dazzling like freshly cut diamonds. I still stand tall, taller than anything else around me, taller than the shrubs and the trees, almost as tall as the mountains on either side of me. I am beyond massive, untouchably strong, My voice thunders, breaking the sound barrier. Nothing can hurt me, or so I thought. Polar bears and seals call me their home, a safe haven, a field of sorts enabling them to roam free. Humans marvel at my magnificence. Click, click. Photos abound. They fly across the world just to witness my diamonds before they're stolen from me, gone forever. But now I can't help but notice they are arriving in droves. Why are there so many of them at once? And why does the air feel hotter than before? Something is amiss. I feel myself shrinking. I try to speak, but I'm silenced. My once powerful voice is now nothing but a whimper. Now the trees tower above. I no longer see their apices, only a large body of water surrounding me, and the barks of the trees that once appeared tiny. The polar bears and seals are nowhere to be found. The joys I once experienced are now gone. Elsa can no longer work her magic. Gone is my frozen kingdom. I feel my knees starting to buckle under the weight of what once was. Oh, this sweltering heat. I understand now. That water is myself. I am dying, melting like the Wicked Witch of the West, solid to liquid, amorphous. Something like this has never happened before, never in my centuries of grandeur. Help me, please. I never would have thought that those who gazed at me, eyeing me in adoration, are the very same ones killing me. My state is similar to other areas ravaged by the untimely effects of climate change, analogous to abandoned war-torn lands, with the only remnants of occupation being the occasional plastic bag floating, ironically, under Mother Nature's breath. I'm not a giant anymore. I'm not strong anymore. I'm almost one with the ocean, rising sea levels, global warming. Now I am adrift, wandering aimlessly, anchorless, no longer in control. A chain reaction has begun. My future is uncertain. But do glaciers even have futures? Is anyone listening? Hear me. I'm screaming. I'm pleading. Please notice what is happening. Please clean up your act. In times past, I covered the poles, a forbidden area of nature, a frozen preserve, untouched, pristine. Help me, please, for I only wish for things to be as they were in times past. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And everybody, we're grocery shopping, we're grocery shopping, we're grocery shopping, we're grocery shopping, and raise the roof for that poem. Check it. Please notice what is happening. Please clean up your act. That's what's up. That's what's up. Speak on it, Annika. So a couple of things I saw in the chat. Athena, the chills I got, man. Paul Barman says, speak on it like a Greek sonnet. Jonah Gruber says, wow, this is deep, amazing job. And Natalie Goldring says the students are inspirational. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Spear fingers one more time for Annika. And keep them wiggling for our second to last climate speaker of the night. Give it up for Felix! Felix in the building.
My poem is called Fire Escape from the perspective of an older man with teen angst. Jet planes. Stewards don't serve good drinks. New flight at the airport. My mom always tells me what to do, but I don't listen. I tell her I'm my own star in the solar system. She tells me that if I don't suffice, I'll suffer consequences. The water's risen, but hey, each day's a new beginning. The truth and wisdom of euphemisms are out of date. Prophetic dreams are stuck beneath a sleuth for lessons. The world is mine for the taking. I'm taking all Nathaniel Bacon's. Mother Earth took too many shots. Right now she's wasted. They say that there has been some loss. I don't see any. They don't tell me that when I watch Fox. I mean, there are problems. They put some people in a box. The young and the poor weak lot. Guess they've had it harder. I'm starting to think back to all these years. I started my business, Oil Incorporated. To tell the truth, Mom has had cancer for a long time. I stopped her mitosis. Her daughter cells have birth defects. But don't all lives end? For so long, I've had resources. I feel great. right. Every day I lose somebody. Yesterday I lost my best buddy. He just disappeared until they found his body. He was caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Unlucky, but I'm doing fine. And besides, I have a bounty of stolen wealth meant for the health care of citizens. My collection of N95s are better than vitamins, but I'll never need them anyways. I think I'll just wash it down with another drink. I'm on the brink of a weird threshold. I don't know how to articulate it, but it's like gold. I mean, what even is the value? I need to be bold. To tell the truth, I've never been on the receiving end before. I wake up every morning thinking and scorning. I get these sporadic chills. I think something's changed in my routine. I pour myself more muesli and I feel myself lean until I'm glued to the fridge. My body must be paralyzed. I scream out for help. I might die. But there's no answer. I feel cold and put on a sweatshirt and some blue jeans. They have grass stains along the knees. And all of a sudden, I see my mom everywhere. This isn't fair. I think her sickness is because of me. For years, I planted money and cut down trees. I neglected her because I felt she neglected me. The truth was, I was too blind to see that I neglected myself. I thought there was no connection between her and my health. When she goes down, I do too. So I cry, why, Mom? She's hooked to the respirator. I beg her, don't be gone. They're about to start the intubation. I ask, how long does she have left to live? Our heartstrings are tied together. One last breath and we'll both be done. The machine started to beep. Unknown forces then seized my beautiful mother, who wouldn't make it till next week. I only wish that I wasn't too late. But I was, and we lost the whole human race. And now age means nothing. I always thought I would outlive the damage that was coming. I spent my life without thinking of cerebral plumbing. I don't have an inkling of a doubt the squid are caught in plastic, and I don't know where my mask went. So with my last breath, I no longer see the matrix. I can't believe the denial has erased where my home base is. I'm faceless. Her skin turned ashy gray. Fertile soils only lay on the disinfected hospital's linoleum floors, until the pores of fungi began to absorb me, my tears, and my mother, my brothers, sisters, and cousins. They are no more.
Yes! Yes! And everybody, we're shooting hoops. We're shooting hoops. We're shooting hoops like LeBron. And swish, and swish, and swish. And another net, another net, another net. And raise the roof for that poem. Yes. Yes. Check it. I always thought I would outlive the damage that was coming. Speak on it, Felix. That's what's up. Spirit fingers one more time for Felix. And give it up for our last speaker of the night. Give it up for Mahima!
Hi, I'm Mahima, and I will be reciting The New Generation's War on behalf of Gen Z. Gen Z, the so-called sensitive and defenseless generation, so in tune with their emotions and the welfare of others that they couldn't be warriors. Reciprocating the criticisms of your parents onto us, drilled into my mind for so long that I didn't believe we could be warriors, but we will be warriors. No, maybe not akin to our ancestors who fought with their machines and chemical weapons, sacrificing their lives, coming out as war heroes, respected by all members of their nation for their courageous patriotism, but we'll still be armed with our scientists, our researchers who fight with their facts and findings, armed with our journalists, our muckrakers who fight with their breaking news publications, armed with our politicians, the lawmakers who fight with their legislation and public influence, armed with our artists, our writers who fight with their words, their paintings, their emotions, armed with our beliefs and our morals that stay with us through adversity. Our art, the facts, our speeches, our votes, our ammunition. We aren't seen as courageous nor patriotic to our nation. we're openly fighting against its source of wealth. So, we don't have to be patriotic. But what's the word for being loyal to the planet that serves us rather than just a single nation that lives in conflict with others from their nation? Just as our ancestors have been ready to defend their nation of origin, this generation will be ready to defend the planet from which mankind originated. We will have no need to pressure our 18-year-olds to go overseas for war. We will have our 18-year-olds pressure corporations and politicians. Pressure them through boycotts, pressure them through new legislation, pressure them to stop misinforming the public, pressure them to take an oath to the environment, pressure them to be pro-people, pro-earth. Roosevelt passed the New Deal, and he was seen as a savior. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez proposes the Green New Deal, and you see it as a waste of tax dollars and effort? How urgent do these matters have to be? Are we not going through an environmental depression? Too many species have lost claim to their land. The earth is calling for return on those loans. Oh wait, sorry, I misspoke. They weren't loans. The earth never really lent this much to us alone. You stole, assuming all for free. Who cares? Take as much as you want, not need. We plead, they weren't complimentary. You're going to have to pay for them now or eventually, and inevitably, they will come knocking on our doors to foreclose the land you claimed was yours. The world is rushing downhill, so we are rushing you to remove their green, gluttonous thumbs off of Earth's green, starving landscape. Deflecting, you say we're progressing, yet not even 1% of the federal budget the EPA has seen. Yeah, right, we're progressing towards the terminal, the Earth's and ours, you'll be sure to see it go. See, right now we are told not to walk outside of our homes, but if we are complacent, we will no longer be able to walk on this earth. You protest your rights to exist on Earth outside of your homes, but what about the rights of the Earth to exist as it wants? What about the rights of the animals whose homes you tore apart to build your own? What about the generations after you who deserve to enjoy the Earth just as much as you did? What about us? Recall the cries of your generation and then maybe come find solace in ours.
Yes, and mic drop, and everybody dirt off your shoulders, dirt off your shoulders, dirt off your shoulders, dirt off your shoulders, and raise the roof for that poem, raise the roof, raise the roof, raise the roof, raise the roof. Check it. We will be warriors. Amen to that. Everybody, spirit fingers one more time for Mahima. And everybody, studio audience, raise the roof for all of our climate speakers for tonight. That is what's up. That is what I am talking about. Well, hold up. Stop. No. We are not done. So now we have to take all of this amazing energy that these young people have given us, and we have to do something with it. Remember, I mentioned collective action. So I'm going to hand it over to Miranda so she can tell us what our next steps are and what you have to do next. Miranda.
Thank you, Darian. Thank you, performers. That's right. We're going to be asking you, all of us together are asking you to break the climate silence. That's what these performers have done tonight. They've taken their emotion and their passion. They recognize that, as Mark said, these are consequential times that we're living in, on racism, on social justice, and on the climate emergency. And they have raised their voices in part to inspire you, yes, to follow their lead, but not just to follow, to join them in being leaders by breaking the climate silence. And cheerleading is a sport in itself, and I hope this metaphor offends no one. But we're not asking you, and the young people you just heard from are not asking you to be cheerleaders. We're asking you to get in the game. We want you to help us break the climate silence. And at the Climate Museum, we've developed a specific way that you can start to do this. And I'll tell you about that in a second. But the first thing to know is that all the experts agree, talking about climate to people you know is one of the very most important civic actions that you can take. Why is that true? Because more than half of us are walking around the United States at once freaked out and shut down and silent about the climate crisis. Because we feel outscaled. It's overwhelming. It's enormous. What can we do as one individual? We're often encouraged to focus exclusively on our consumer choices, as if what kind of light bulbs we have are going to stop Siberia from being 100 degrees, or stop the ice that you heard about tonight melting, or stop the wildfires that you heard about tonight from burning. No, we all know that it needs collective action to move us forward. It takes all of us moving together. And that can only start if we break the climate silence and start speaking to each other about what's in our minds and what's in our hearts and what we want to see, what's the future we want to make for ourselves and for each other. To jumpstart this process, we are launching a climate ambassador program. You'll see beneath me the landing page of our website, climatemuseum.org. Please make a mental note of it and visit it as soon as you can. You can print out a climate ambassador card. You can click on links to get more resources to support you as you start taking this unbelievably consequential step to help address the climate crisis. We're going to have a gallery where we will share stories of people who have made this move and started to speak out to the people in their lives and to the people around them. Maybe one of the people you'll choose to talk to is your banker. Maybe you'll ask them to stop investing in fossil fuel infrastructure. Maybe you'll start with a neighbor. Maybe it'll be your elected representative. Speak out about the climate crisis. Become a climate ambassador. And join us too in elevating youth voices like those you heard tonight. All of that is on our website. This is also the happy occasion on which we launch our YouTube channel. That's Climate Museum as well. Our handle is the same across all platforms. So please visit us there, check out the videos we have there for you, subscribe, join us again. We're so happy to have spent this time with you, and please break the climate silence.
All right, folks, you know what to do, so let's get to it. We are about to wrap our show, but I want to do a special shout out to our unsung hero of Climate Speaks. This man has been at the very beginning of Climate Speaks. There are very few programs that have one-on-one mentorship with the young people who have guided them and helped coach them throughout this. And so I want to give a huge raise the roof for one of my partners in crime. Give it up for Trace DePaz. Trace DePaz, Trace DePaz, Trace DePaz. My dude. All right, so we are not done yet. We're going to give one special roll call for all of our climate speakers tonight. So everybody, get your arms ready because we're about to raise the roof for a good while. So let's start us off. Give everybody raise the roof for Annabelle.
Break the climate silence.
And raise the roof for Erica.
Break the climate silence.
And raise the roof for Madeline.
Break the climate silence.
And raise the roof for Manav.
Break the climate silence.
And raise the roof for Ella.
Break the climate silence.
And raise the roof for Annika.
Break the climate silence.
And raise the roof for Felix.
Break the climate silence.
And raise the roof for Mahima.
Break the climate silence.
Yes, break the climate silence. Break the climate silence. Break the climate silence. Break the climate silence. That is our show. Thank you guys so much. Let's save the world. Stay strong. Stay safe. Stay loud. Stand tall. One love. Peace.